It's Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder. Now, 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning on Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Good Monday morning. I am here, of course, with Fletcher.
Thank you, air conditioning.
Nice, isn't it?
Oh, I love it so much.
Good invention. And, of course, Ryder is here.
We're going streaking!
Yeah.
We be twinning.
Wow.
I hate to spoil the sports update, but dude,
Come
in a
on.
row? Come on.
Kidding?
Yes.
Get after it, man.
Absolutely.
Nothing like a little beep from Warren Zevon to get us into the week. It's the best part. Beep. Right there towards the end. They just left that one in there. I love that. All right, let's get to it. It's Monday morning. It is May the 12th. We have gotten through the big holiday weekend. Paul Fletcher, I'm feeling Minnesota right now, which is my way of asking you, what the hell's happening out there?
Feeling Minnesota today, at least, may come with some coughing from time to time. There's an air quality alert that has been issued for western and central Minnesota. This does include the Twin Cities starting today. It actually goes until 9 o'clock tonight. The alert was issued due to ground level ozone expected to reach high levels by this afternoon.
Okay.
People with asthma or other breathing conditions, children and teens, are more likely to be affected by the high ozone levels. I have a 12-year-old with asthma, so we'll be staying inside today, I think, probably.
Probably for the best.
Remember that vintage Soviet space junk we talked about?
I can't wait to hear.
Cosmos 482 re-entered the Earth's atmosphere on Saturday, a day ahead of schedule.
Nice.
After more than 5 decades in orbit. It was a good run. 5 decades in orbit.
5 decades is going to give you. I'm gonna give you a little grace on getting here ahead of schedule. Yeah. I get it.
1,200-pound spacecraft crashed into the Indian Ocean. Nobody got hurt.
Oh, man. That's the problem with the planet being like, what, 80% water?
Yeah.
Come on. I wanted a land hit.
Likelihood was relatively high. Don't worry. You know what? At the very end of this, I'll tell you some more that could get your hopes up. Okay. It was intended to land on Venus in 1972, but got stranded in an elliptical orbit around Earth due to a rocket problem. The reentry of Cosmos 482 highlights a growing issue of space junk, with an average of 3 sizable debris pieces re-entering Earth every day. So there's your hope right there. 3 every day.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, you still got possibility for that, Jerry Bruckheimer film.
I somehow missed the fact that there were things going to Venus all these years. I know all about Mars, the rover, but I missed the whole Venus bit.
Same.
I mean, it was 50 years ago. They screwed it up and probably didn't want to talk about it.
I guess that might make sense.
Mm-hmm. That show, Last of Us, is hot. Pearl Jam has released a new 4-track collection of songs tied to the Last of Us franchise, showcasing their ongoing connection to the popular video game series and its HBO adaptation. The EP includes studio recordings, a live performance, and a reworked fan favorite with an exclusive vinyl edition available to 10 club members, their fan club.
And what does this have to do with The Last of Us? I'm sorry.
Well, I'm getting to that, actually.
Okay.
The track list features the original studio version of Future Days, All or None, along with a new live version of Future Days, a reimagined take on their song Present Tense, and the song Future Days has played a significant role in The Last of Us storyline, apparently.
Got it.
Haven't watched the second season yet, so I'm not aware.
Nor have I.
Chicago-based Italian beef chain Portillo's is trying to capitalize on the new pope being from Chicago.
Yeah?
Yeah, here's what they have to say about it.
It's almost a little bit of divine fate that this happened in May, which happens to be National Italian Beef Month. News hit that the new pope is from Chicago, and immediately our social media feeds, our emails, even our phones started ringing.
Dubbed the Leo, it remains faithful to the restaurant's signature Italian beef, baptized in gravy, with what they are calling the holy trinity of peppers, sweet, hot, or a combo of both.
It is slow roasted for 4 hours. We thinly slice it ourselves.
Here's the thing. I've had plenty of Portillo sandwiches. I love them.
Yeah.
The beef is good.
Yeah.
The gravy is good.
Okay.
And then you can get sweet or hot pep. Basically, all they're saying is that their regular sandwich is now called the Leo. That's the sandwich I get all the time. It's nothing new or special.
Yeah.
It's just nonsense.
That's marketing. That's capitalism, baby.
Yeah, I guess so.
When the iron's hot, man, strike it.
Mm-hmm. Well, apparently their phones have been blowing up. Did you hear that? Yeah.
No.
And so they've baptized it in gravy.
Isn't that nice?
It's so nice of them to do. It is a good sandwich, though.
All right, fair enough. I go for the Chicago dog and then just keep moving.
Oh, boy.
Never even seen the rest of the menu.
You need a hot beef wet. That's what you need.
Okay, first, you need to watch your mouth. It's early in the morning. Okay, there's maybe kids listening.
Their words, not mine.
Let's talk about some sports. Hey, the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight have a chance to take a 3-1 series lead over the Golden State Warriors. For everybody who's been curious as to why the last 2 games have not been cakewalks, since Jimmy Butler went to Golden State, that's the best defensive team in the league, so it's not a surprise.
Right.
Now, Minnesota absolutely should win this series. They were favored with Steph Curry. They're even more favored without him, but it's a rock fight. This is a very, very tough physical team we're playing. The Warriors, you think about the three-pointers, you think about the high-flying offense, but that's not how they've been playing this season. Right. Everyone's getting a good up-close look at this. This is a physical, dirty team, and so it's going to be tough.
Right.
I still think the Timberwolves are going to win this series, but don't think it's easy just because Steph's not there. That's all I'm saying. Okay. If you watch the game Saturday, you did not see ballet. Let's just put it that way.
No,
and
there's no ballet.
Tonight, it's going to be worse. I promise you. Punches will be thrown.
Dogfight is what you're calling it.
I preferred rock fight myself.
Rock fight?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Rock fight. Ryder, what about 8 in a row? How about those Minnesota Twins?
Dude, friggin' yes. Very, very tasty.
The team has decided to play a little bit of baseball.
I know.
Yesterday, for the, again, 8th straight and 6th straight at home game, they beat the San Francisco Giants 7-6. How about that? Kiersey Jr. with the winning RBI in the 10th.
Shoots this one fair inside the left field line, and Deshaun Kersey Jr. swings away and walks it off.
Nice.
And Brooks Lee scores, and the Twins sweep the Giants. 7-6 the final in 10, and the Twins have won 8 straight ball games.
Wow.
And here's the good news. They're on their way to Baltimore for 3 more starting tomorrow. So let's go for 11 straight.
You know what? I don't care who you're playing. 8 straight's good. You're in a professional league.
Yeah, it's really good.
And if you're winning 8 straight, that's pretty good.
Royce Lewis finally got a hit. By the way, it was on an 0 for 36 streak.
Ouch.
He was hitless last season in his final 21 at-bats.
Oh, no.
And then since he came back this year, he'd gone 5 games without a hit. So 0 for 36, that streak's broken.
That's good.
So now it's all trends, or a lot of green flags right now for the Minnesota Twins.
Much like a Portillo's sandwich, it's just gravy from this point on.
Wow. The Minnesota Frost are ahead 2-1 in their series over the Toronto Scepters.
Nice.
A game yesterday at the X, 7-5.
Yeah.
It's like a practice or something, like a scrimmage, basically. 7-5. You were there.
Yeah, it was there. They just wouldn't stop scoring. And every time, it was never in doubt.
Yep.
At the same time, Toronto would never completely go away. So as soon as we would get kind of cocky and arrogant, they would get one. And so it was a good atmosphere, but it was never in doubt.
That makes for good entertainment. Finally, Saturday night, Minnesota United, the Loons, just beat the snot out of Inter Miami, 4-1. Lionel Messi did score the 1 goal for Miami, but it was all about Minnesota United.
Yeah.
David Beckham, co-owner of the Miami Heat, a very famous soccer player in his own right, a little upset about the Instagram and Twitter posts afterwards from the Loons. He asked that Minnesota United show a little respect after they were mocking Miami.
Oh, okay.
Before, during, and after the game.
That's how soccer hooligans work, is they want respect. I was totally misled by this.
Miami leads the league in dirty shots, by the way, every single season. They have a collection of they have the most talent in the league, and they're the dirtiest. And in soccer, that's how that goes. You want respect off the field? Stop it, David Beckham.
Yeah, how about earn it?
Yeah.
Instead of getting the brakes beat off you 4-1 and then beg for respect. That's absurd.
Whatever, DB.
Yeah.
Hey, how about this? Want to give a quick shout out to the East Side of St. Paul.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, West Side. Sorry, everybody else. This is all about East St. Paul. We're happy to have you with us right now.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Birthplace of Scotch tape.
Glad to know that.
For whatever that's worth.
I'm a fan myself.
Yeah, it's a helpful
Post-its,
invention.
all good stuff at 3.
You know those little spinner things that kids do for to just keep themselves Fidget spinners?
Yeah.
With me, it's just a roll of Scotch tape.
Yeah.
I will just roll a piece of tape in my fingertips, and then I will throw them on the floor, and then people will go pick that up, and then I go, okay, cool. That's how that's always worked for me.
I've seen you roll the tape.
We've got KQ's Bestest up and running all week. You've got until the weekend to get your votes in for a variety of categories.
Noon on Friday.
Dude,
We're
wrapping this up at noon on Friday.
Wow,
well,
thanks
somebody's
for that.
got to count the freaking votes,
That's
man.
very true.
Yeah.
Man, we just got started and it's almost done already. I mean, talking about wham, bam, thank you, man. Just click in and out and we're done, right? I mean, it's fast moving, fast paced.
You've got to get in there. You can vote as many times as you like on a variety of categories. How about this one? Bestest passive-aggressive Minnesotan insult. Wow. Okay, before I tell you what the options are, what's the first one that comes to mind, Paul Fletcher, Minnesotan?
Well, honestly, the first one is the one that comes to mind. The first one on the list here. It was the first one that came to mind to me. I don't hate it. Meaning,
I didn't realize that was an insult because I say that frequently.
Do you really?
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it. Meaning, so you don't love it.
Yeah.
You certainly don't love it. You're very far away from loving it, but at the same time, it's acceptable. It's fair to Midland, is what that means.
If we can't come up with a plan A, this is a solid plan like D.
So it's not necessarily an insult. It's more of an acceptance.
Hey, I know you worked really hard on this.
Yeah.
And I can see that you put a lot of passion behind it.
Right.
I don't hate it.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
It's just,
all right.
I just love it because that's so. If that's not Minnesota nice, I don't know what is.
The one that jumped out to me, I didn't realize this was also a Minnesotan thing, but bless your heart. Bless your heart, to me, that's a Southern passive-aggressive insult. I've heard that my whole life when I was a kid down there. And it's more like, well, you usually say it not about someone to their face. It's more bless his heart, bless her heart, like someone across the room.
Yeah.
Bless their heart. But bless your heart, that's right. Yeah, that's wow. That's a whole different one.
Yeah, that's like, I think of like a grandma when I think of bless your heart, you know what I mean? And little Johnny has really worked hard on something, and he's very proud of his, maybe his last weekend playing t-ball or whatever. Like, oh, bless his heart.
Bless your heart. To me, the implication is a general lack of self-awareness. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're saying, if someone says, "Oh, bless your heart," that just means you are kidding yourself, dude. That's how that goes. How about this? No offense, but that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It means offense. Take offense to this, please. Yeah.
Or that's the other side of all due respect. Like, hey, with all due respect, here comes something very disrespectful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the 5 you can vote for, that's different. I like that one.
I use that a lot. That's different. That was the first one I thought of. That's different, or that's interesting. Those things are not different or interesting. They are terrible, and we just don't want to say so.
Yeah.
So you got that's different. No offense, but bless your heart. How about this one? I'm sorry you feel that way. That's pretty good.
The epitome of not apologizing.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
You know what? I actually kind of like that one because it's like, you know what? I'm not taking responsibility for this. I'm sorry that you feel that way.
Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of like the best way of being a jerk while trying to be nice.
92kqrs.com. Get on there. Vote as often as you like, as many times for as many categories.
I don't hate it.
Why don't you? Speaking of bless your heart, this is very disturbing news, but apparently, and I'm not trying to upset anybody, apparently the Southern accent is disappearing. Accents are everywhere you go. We all have them.
Except us.
It's a funny thing.
There's no accents in the Midwest.
It's a funny thing when you get to an age where you realize, oh, wait, it's not, this isn't normal talk. This is just our normal talk. I learned very early on in life, when I was 10, I moved from Maryland to Kentucky, which was like going from Venus to Mars, as it turned out. And I understood very clearly, wow. I thought, everyone spoke like Marylanders. And I was very offended by the word y'all. As a 10-year-old, I was like, no, you guys, y'all to me meant stupid. You must just be dumb if you use that word.
Right.
And I thought that when I was surrounded by millions of people who suddenly used that word, which tells you how self-aware I was.
Yeah, but you know what? I think everybody at a younger age, especially that doesn't grow up in that area, hears y'all and thinks that.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty common.
Well, it goes to a much larger picture. The South generally portrayed as it is in the media for generations. It's always like every time you see some crazy story from a big city about, a big clash of whatever, I'm always like, Hollywood will put Southern accents on there. If you just want to make someone rural look stupid, put a Southern accent on them.
Fair.
But here's the thing. I was 10. I didn't say y'all till I was 16. I remember I never said it. Honestly, I never said it naturally. I would say it like ironically. Well, I was 16 years old. I was learning to drive a car when I heard myself say y'all, and I went, oh my God. I held out that long. Again, that's how dumb I was.
Do you remember the sentence that made you utter that, or what was happening?
It was it was totally like, no, what are y'all going to do after that? It was just one of those, and I was like, oh my God. And then it was the greatest release. I was like, oh, I can just stop this now. I will say y'all till the day I die. It's great. It makes perfect sense to me.
It's super useful.
Yeah.
It's incredibly useful.
I use y'all all the time.
The word on the street now, however, is the Southern accent is slowly but surely disappearing.
Oh, man.
Migration patterns, people moving into the big cities. There's a giant. We're reading this big article about how throughout the South, people are decrying. They're like, oh my God, we're losing our Southern accent because. And accents, by the way, that's a very direct. It says a lot about you. You know, it's a calling card. It says a whole lot, good and bad or indifferent. But there's a lot loaded in an accent. But I'm not too concerned about it because basically, it's a question of big cities. Sure, the accents are flatter. You can go pick any southern city: Charlotte, Atlanta, Nashville, where I just moved here from a few years ago. Go 20 minutes in any direction outside of the city center, and those accents are there, baby.
Thick.
Minneapolis, St. Paul. Go 20 minutes in any direction. The accents are much different. It's not just because we're all in radio, but I mean just this area of town.
No. Yeah, definitely. Get on 10. Start heading towards Staples. Things get real. You get that genuine northern Minnesota accent.
I know what you mean.
In our we live right around the corner from KQ. We're in our third year here, and we've had conversations about, man, it's pretty rare that I hear an accent that really I even notice, because again, when you're in a major urban area, everything flattens. Everything just gets a little. That's just
more
anywhere
subtle.
I've been.
Yeah.
Go to Boston. You're walking around Boston, the most horrific accent known to man. And then go out to a suburb. It's night and day. It's another planet. Like, you ever seen My Fair Lady, the old play? My Fair Lady.
I mean, I haven't seen the play.
It's just all about the different dialects.
Is that Audrey Hepburn?
Yeah, all the accents around the United Kingdom, which there's more. You can go from a village in Wales to another village in Wales that's 1 mile away, and they sound like they're from different languages almost. The accents are so specific, not even regionally, but like across the street. That's a whole big thing of that play. But it's not that different here, except it's just flatter. Like the bigger cities you go to, it's flatter. Rosemary and I were up at the North Shore a week ago.
Yeah.
Heard some words I didn't understand. I just in the middle of a conversation with a couple, guy at the bar. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, what? I just acted like I knew what he was saying, but it just got real, it just turned into a whole different thing. And I was like, yeah, there we go. That's what I want to hear.
It gets thick up there,
Yeah.
Really thick. The R's get really thick.
They certainly do. But you guys, how much of your life has been spent, because, as radio people, did you have a conscious effort to flatten your accent, Ryder? Did you ever think about it in those terms?
I didn't think about it, and I didn't even realize that we really had one until I moved to Fresno, and then when I started telling stories about home, it would start to go like this, oh yeah, my grandpa up north, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had no idea. And then when I would fly home, I'd have to stop in either Phoenix or Denver, and I could just sense, like as soon as I'm getting on that connection coming back to Minneapolis, that I'm around Minnesotans. Yeah, just hearing those O's.
Paul?
I feel like I've been fairly non-regional diction for the most part, most of my life. There was no conscious effort.
Yeah.
And my constant reminder is my dad grew up, well, first of all, mom grew up southwest Minnesota, farm country. Dad grew up 10 miles south of Canada in Roseau. And so when I went to see either relatives, it got really, really thick up there,
Yeah, sure.
And I'd come back from, hanging out up north, and I'd be like talking like this, and then it would go away. And I'd realize, oh, yeah, mine isn't so thick at all.
Yeah.
And so it was really kind of just natural. I didn't really have to do any manicure to it.
Up until I was 10, as I said, I lived in Maryland, but I'm from a Michigan family. So my parents and my cousins, my older siblings, it was very Michigan in my house. And then the weirdest thing for me was years after I'd moved to Kentucky. And so I had this Michigan and then Maryland and Kentucky, and I kind of got flattened out. I mean, I have a Southern accent. I'm 2 beers away from a Southern accent at all times. But I don't intentionally not have more of a drawl. If my brother Doug called in right now, he's 2 years older than me, we have the exact same voice, except he'd be like, hey, what y'all up to up there? I mean, it's
really?
just, he is Kentucky as the day is long.
But when you talk to him, does it bring it out of you?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that's what
when
happens.
I'm down, we were all in Kentucky a couple months ago. My mom passed, and I saw a lot of family and a lot of old friends. And sitting around talking. By the end of the night, it's like, hey, babe, what are you doing tomorrow? Man, I'll probably get up there. It just comes out of me. It's just there. But I don't consciously downplay it or upplay it at all. It's just one of those things.
You just react to your surroundings.
The strangest thing ever, I remember being in college, and my mom, I went home and she found a cassette tape that we had made when we were little kids in Maryland.
Okay.
That we used to send tapes to our grandma in Detroit. We hey grandma, how you doing?
Yeah.
And she had one that, my grandma would then send it back, and you'd have people talking back and forth on cassettes. But she found one that was one that I guess we had sent. And I heard myself at like 9 years old, and I had the most Baltimore, Mid-Atlantic, an accent that now makes my skin peel. Hey, Grandma, how's it going? I was like, we're going to the O's game. That Balmer. It's not quite Philly, but it's close. And that was my accent as a kid. I had no idea. I was like, oh, Lord, thank God we got out of Maryland. And I still have family there and friends. It's like, oh, come on, Stevie. It's like, nah. Oh, man. Grinds my gears. What do you think the sexiest accent is? I'm curious. What's the sexiest accent out there? You hear somebody talking in it and you just think to yourself, oh, yeah, I'm going to listen to every word this person says. 651-989-ROCK. Larry from Coon Rapids texted in, my Pittsburgh accent comes out thick when I run into another Pittsburgher.
I'm having a hard time even imagining what a Pittsburgh accent sounds like.
It's not massively different, but it's like they lose the L's, sort of. I think the radio play-by-play guy for the Wild right now, Joe O'Donnell, I think he's Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And he doesn't say Matt Boldy. He says Matt Bodie.
More than anything, they talk about the benefit of adding French fries to your sandwich. That whole Primanti Brothers thing in Pittsburgh, it's like, guys, enough already. It's a big deal over there. Oh, they put the fries right on the sandwich. Yeah, great. I got a salad once, and they had French fries on my salad.
What?
I'm like, you guys, that's really... So I really didn't even catch the accent.
I didn't know that was a Pittsburgh thing.
It's one of those things.
I went to a Lunds Byerly's in Woodbury and went to the salad bar. You could get Cheetos there. Like to put on your salad.
Okay, now come on. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. A travel survey asked a whole lot of Americans for the sexiest accents, and a whole lot of Americans are apparently into S&M because this is what they said.
Yikes!
Number one,
S&M.
Okay, number one, Texas, which is a very generalized. I mean, I don't even know what that means because Texas is enormous, and there are many different accents there. But this is the one that kills me. Number two, Boston.
What?
How on God's green earth?
Thumbs up on this one.
Thumbs up.
Yes, I think I got some backup on the text line. Jimmy of Jimmy's Motorcycles. Yes.
Really? You like
loves women with that Boston accent.
The women. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
I'll say guys as well. Yeah, it's
that's
just
wicked
somebody,
good, huh?
Yes.
You like it over there?
I'll take a Ben Affleck or a Matt Damon in a Dunkin' Donuts commercial.
Yeah, but they don't look like that in real life. I've been to Boston. Those people like that don't walk. There's a reason those guys live in L.A. now. Number three, New York. Okay, I don't even know what that means. There's because again, New York City, like London, there's every street has a different accent.
Yeah.
This is the one that blows my mind. Number five on this. I've thought about this a lot in my life, and it's one of my favorite cities, and it's the place I despise the most. The hardcore accent of Chicago, Illinois. That's number five on sexiest accents.
Really? The Bears.
That Chicago thing. Every time hey, it's just there's just like a.
It's like
anytime I see a guy talking with that accent, they immediately turn into Porky Pig. That's what I see.
It's like they're chopping lettuce with their words.
Yeah, it just grinds my gears to no end. I love Chicago. I have a great time. I have a lot of great friends there. I have a lot of great memories. But when I am around people that are thick Chicago accents, I just want to rip my ears off my head.
Here's my question. Number 4 is Maine. Now, if you polled 100 people, could 90 of them even tell you what a Maine accent is?
Pepperidge Farm remembers. It's softer, thicker Boston. It's softer and somehow thicker. It's more like if Boston's milk, then Maine is cream.
Right?
A nice creamy topping. It's that sort of thing. It's basically
a proper Boston.
It's a southern Nova Scotian, is what that is.
Right.
Several Australians in here. It's got to be a soft Aussie accent. Well, from a blonde shield. Okay, so now you're attaching the accent to a specific person.
Does it really matter? If it looks the way you want it to look, does it really matter what the accent is? It's going to be sexy no matter what.
No.
Really?
Accent can ruin somebody for me.
Okay.
A gorgeous human.
Hey, look,
Really?
I'll tell you a quick story. And as a guy who spent a lot of my years in the South, this is just the shortest version possible. I was in Paris, France one time. I was doing a promo tour, me and the singer of my band. We're just, for a month, we're in Europe just doing press. No shows, nothing. We're just talking about the new record, blah, 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 blah. And you're in a different city every day, and it's fun, and it's exhausting, and it's boring, and it's cool. It's everything. We are at a nightclub, a very hot place in Paris, with the record company guy takes us out, and we go, and we're there, and we are seated at a booth. And like a woman comes in and she's like, I'm with the Ford Modeling Agency. I'm a big fan of the band. We're like, great. She goes, I'm going to bring some people over here. They want to meet you. And so 4 models, long story short, sit down in the booth with us.
All right.
And they're all like Eastern European girls. And apparently they like the Black Crowes. The one girl that didn't say a word sat across from us. She was dark haired, fair skinned, green eyes. And I kid you not, the most striking woman I've ever seen in person. And my singer and I both were like, okay, this is like very uncomfortable, and she's clearly from some part. I mean, I've never if you've seen someone that's so striking, it makes you just, it was like I felt like a complete tongue-tied, just couldn't believe the beauty of this person.
Okay.
She sat there very quietly for 7-8 minutes. And then finally, she picked up on the conversation, and she's very aloof, and so you think she's above it all. Mm-hmm. And then actually, she was just dumb as a brick, and she just went. When she finally opened her mouth, she went, "Oh my God, I just realized y'all's a Black Crow." She was from Gastonia, North Carolina.
Wow.
And she spent the next 10 minutes saying, I was in Milan, but I hated Italy. I couldn't find nothing to eat over there. And here, she said, they're putting a Chili's on the Champs-Elysees. I'm not making any of this up. The single most beautiful person I've ever seen in my life. And when she opened her mouth, 2 Southern gentlemen were like, we got to get out of this place.
Oh, no.
It just twisted. It was like a Twilight Zone episode where the pig-faced people are beautiful and the beautiful. It just everything went upside down, and it may or may not have been because I was tripping. But listen, the point is, yes, a beautiful accent or a horrific accent can really change the way you look at things.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder on Minnesota's 92 KQRS. It is Monday morning, May the 12th. We're feeling Minnesota, Paul Fletcher. What's happening?
We were feeling something yesterday. Minnesota broke some records yesterday in the heat department. Certain you noticed that it was unseasonably hot. Some areas beat previous records by more than 5 degrees. Wow. Some dating back 125 years. How about this? Halleck, which is in the northwestest corner of Minnesota, hit 100 yesterday.
Really?
Oh, my God.
Damn.
Grand Forks was at 99 degrees. Apparently the heat swept like north of us because we were just at 90, and I didn't like it, but now I kind of feel lucky.
I was hanging out with the neighbors last night talking about how it didn't feel that bad because it was kind of breezy and it's not muggy yet.
Rosemary and I were out at the Walker Center yesterday walking around the big art fair and the sculpture gardens, and it was a gorgeous day for it. Beautiful. That thing's awesome. I've always loved the Big Blue Rooster.
Yeah, that thing's great.
It was, but the breeze saved it. You know, we did a couple times like, man, when that breeze stops, it gets hot real fast, but it was pretty nice.
We took Spencer to Can Wonderland, and that was, that's underground essentially and air conditioned. Walked out and I was like, expected it to be kind of like that, where it just swallows you up, and it wasn't that bad. It was tolerable.
Well, should have been in, what is it, Halleck?
Halleck, yeah, boy, yuck. Yucktown, USA. The U.S. and China will slash their tariffs on each other for 90 days, according to holy moly, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. It's the relief global businesses and investors hoped for after the trade war brought commerce to pretty much a halt and sent economies hurling toward recession. So,
gosh, I wonder if anything could have happened to prevent all this.
It's a good question. It's way above our pay grade, though, I'm sure. A couple that met while playing the game Minecraft recently got married in the game. They met at 13. Right. Yeah, they met at 13.
Wait.
Yeah, what?
Okay, Minecraft, the big movie, it's based on a video game. Yep. It's been a game forever.
Yep.
People play it.
They met at 13. Now they're in their 20s. She's from Oregon. He's from England. Their digital wedding happened in March, but Wired magazine just did a story on it. Their avatars stood in front of a digital altar with a canopy of pixelated cherry blossoms above.
So I won the NBA championship in 1978 in my driveway, too, is what that means.
I was really good at NBA Jam. I mean, if you want to get tonight, yeah.
So I got a ring. How about you?
They said getting married in the game made sense for them because, quote, we've lived apart our whole relationship. That world is where we live together. He also proposed in the game. The whole wedding cost $300.
$300?
Listen, man,
this whole thing is just so silly. I can't even.
I had a dream in 1986. I still remember. I married Brooke Shields. Does that mean it's real now? This is completely not real. None of this.
It didn't even cost you $300.
No, it was free. It was great.
What's nerdier, getting married in Minecraft or getting married at the Renaissance Festival?
Minecraft.
Minecraft for sure. At least at the Renaissance Festival,
you're human.
You're human. You'll get a turkey leg and a grog of beer out of it, and nothing else. Everybody looks good in those tights.
And also, I would say, I'm not a legal expert, but I would say not the statute of limitations. You're common law married to Brooke Shields. If that dream was how long ago? Long time ago.
1986.
Yeah, a long time ago.
It was a banger.
So, yeah. A new study is showing that the country's biggest cities are sinking. Not just the ones on the coast either. Researchers say that massive ongoing groundwater extraction in major cities is causing land subsidence or sinking. In every city studied, at least 20% of the urban area was sinking.
Finally.
Damn.
Right. It's no big deal, though. It's just going to have an impact on structural integrity of buildings, roads, bridges, and dams. So it'll be fine.
I say finally because I have spent my whole life looking at skylines and going, how do those stay up? Why aren't they sinking into the ground? I don't know how anything works. And I've always, especially more than anything, go to New York. Manhattan's an island. I'm like, how is it still there? Yeah. Do you have any idea how many ginormous buildings there are? How is it not all sinking?
And they're so heavy.
I feel vindicated. Thank you, science, for proving me right.
Here's the thing. If they do sink to a devastating level, that couple that just got married, they can rebuild it on Minecraft.
Oh, for God's sakes. There's always a silver lining.
Significant shrinking cities, Dallas, Chicago, Detroit, Denver, New York. So like I said, no big deal.
Yep. Cool. All right.
It's fine.
Friday night, I had a dream. Completely true story. My buddy Kenny, been friends for 35 years. He won the Powerball. And in my dream, we were doing this show. We were on the air, and I looked, and there was a TV, and I was like, hey, my friend Kenny just won the lottery, but I couldn't talk about it on air. I was frustrated because I couldn't call him, and we were on air. And of course, in my dream, the studio looked different, and we were all different people. But, the way I woke up from a dream, basically it was this. Hey, Kenny won the Powerball. So that day I texted him. I said, hey, man, buy a Powerball ticket. I had a dream you won it. And he said, really? And I said, yeah. And he goes, I'll do it. And then, as it turned out, he didn't win Saturday night. No. But, hey, it was worth a shot.
Bummer.
But in that text exchange, we had the standard. He goes, oh, man. If I win, you get a big cut. And I said, well, yeah, of course I get a big cut. And then I said, I'll get one too. It'll go both ways.
Yeah.
Because, when you talk about buying lottery tickets with your friend, you immediately go, well, I'll kick you 20% or whatever.
Sure.
And so neither one of us won. So neither one of us has to then be put to the test of, are we really going to give the other guy a big bunch of money?
If I win, I'm telling you right now, you each get $1 million.
Oh, that's awesome. After taxes?
Yeah.
Cash? Okay.
Sure.
Just
what if you only win $2 million?
Well, no, I mean a big lotto hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
$2 million is a big lotto hit.
Okay, if I hit for at least 25, you guys each get $1 million. All right.
Appreciate that. Okay. Appreciate that. In a survey, you notice neither one of us returned the favor. In a survey,
I'm disappearing.
Here's the thing: most people say that if I hit a big lottery win, I would share the wealth with friends and family. But here's an interesting question. Okay, that's great. You suddenly you're flush with cash. You're going to give away money you never had before. So it's a wonderful gesture, but it's not like you're going to miss it because you never had it to begin with. It's just going to go right in one hand and go out the other. How about an organ donor, a living donor? Let's discuss that. How willing are you to share not the wealth, but the health, if you will, with somebody in your life? Would you go the living donor route? If a friend of yours, if a family member, if a loved one said, hey, I need a kidney, and you were a match, is that an easy decision for you? Interesting to think about.
It is interesting to think about. When I read the story, immediately I went, well, yeah, of course I would do that. But then you think about what the potential impacts and that's scary as hell.
Well, sure.
Man. It's then you give pause. I'd like to think that I'd still end up at yes.
I think for me it's real simple. It just depends on who we're talking about.
Exactly.
100%.
I mean, it's 100% based on that. If it's family, done. And by that, I mean, if it's my wife or kids, sure. If it's, I have siblings, I have nephews, I have nieces, it's certainly like, yeah, what do you need? If I can do this, I would want to sit down with some medical professionals and say, okay, really?
Correct.
Is this not a big deal? I'll be all right. But as far as that whole thing about, when I see stories about somebody who heard about someone in town, a stranger they'd never met needed a kidney, and they went and saw, hey, I'm a match. Well, you know what? I gave him a kidney. I think that's wonderful. I think it's great, but I can't say honestly I'd line up and just say, yeah, go ahead, take one.
Yeah, it's going to depend on what the side effects are and how long I'm going to be laid up and like all of those sort of things.
It's going to be an individual basis on everything. You know, I agree with you. I'm in line with you as far as like family done, really, really close friends, a couple of them done. But then like a complete stranger, you know, like would I entertain it? Absolutely. I'd entertain it. You know what I mean? You'd go through the process, I guess. But that's scary.
There's a text in that says, I'm not a living donor, but I'm registered with the University of Minnesota. The only thing I cannot give away is a kidney because I actually need one myself. Oh, well, hey, Jake, good luck to you with that one, man.
Absolutely.
I have a very dear friend of mine has had a liver transplant. He had a very severe liver cancer, so much so they said you're not eligible, but he did this experimental treatments. This is almost 20 years ago now. This is in 2008 when he finally got the transplant. He was on his last legs, literally, and then got a call, of course, at midnight. Hey, now for him to get that liver, that meant someone else had to die. Like there was a car accident and a donor, and it worked out, and he's still with us, and it's a crazy story. And watching him go through that, being on that list for several years, I thought back then, I was like, well, easy to sign the license. I'll be an absolute donor. Yeah. No question about organ donor, but the living donor thing, because some people you can do partial liver donations, which I was unaware of until back then. And that's a hard one to imagine. And you get two kidneys, so you can give one up, but then I'm like, yeah, but there's a reason we have two.
Yeah, there is a reason we have two.
Is it like the second kidney like a pancreas? Like you don't really need it?
I don't know.
Appendix, I mean.
I wonder how many people donate a kidney and then find out that they need a kidney themselves after that.
I see the wonders the body does in repairing itself and taking care of itself, et cetera, et cetera. I have a hard time believing that second kidney's there just kind of, as baggage.
I'm not sure about that one myself.
Yeah.
But I'm curious if 651-989-ROCK is the talk and text line. If you are or know someone who is a living donor, I'd be fascinated to know the thought process behind that. Like all of the things that go into that decision. About 40% of people say they would be willing to be a living donor. And if you think like, well, that's not too many, that's 2 out of 5.
That's pretty good
actually
number.
Pretty good.
I don't know. It seems low to me, especially if you're talking about donating to friends and family versus strangers.
Well, it all averages out, I suppose, right?
Not trying to be funny. My concern would be, are my kidneys worthy of transfer?
Oh, yeah, I got that same thing too. Like, do you want my liver? Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. I've not been the healthiest. I feel like a fairly healthy lifestyle now, but still nothing like. We'll put it this way: if I needed a kidney and they were like, "You can have a kidney that's the guy's been living the same life you've been living," I'd be like, I'd rather have a fresher model. Can I get a cleaner, healthier model? I know beggars can't be choosers, but I wouldn't want my own kidney back. I mean, just saying.
I feel like my liver is probably an Olympic athlete compared to your two.
There's a good chance that's the case. I had years where I was in an environment where the lifestyle was such that I was sort of like the straight guy. Yeah. And then I got out of that environment full time and realized, oh no, I was just a straight guy in that environment. Like, oh yeah, I was still really dumb.
Yeah. Compared to everybody else.
Yeah, it was just that thing. It's really not the best way to look at yourself in the mirror. You got to remove all context and go, no, really, what is the amount here? 651-989-ROCK. We got Mike from Plymouth on the horn. Mike, good morning, sir.
Hey, how you doing there, Steve?
We're all good over here, brother. Thank you. What do you got for us today?
Well, you called in my wife. I was just getting another cup of coffee and said you were talking about living donors. I'm a living donor, kidney donor, 6 years in the making, and living healthy and large in Plymouth. Everything's good. 100,000 people a year, Steve, are on the list. 6,000 people a year die waiting on kidneys. So if you're healthy and happy, give that kidney up. It's share your spare is our motto.
Wow. Mike, can I ask you, do you know the person that got your kidney, or was it completely anonymous?
Well, it was actually, they call it a paired match out of Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Steve. My wife needed a kidney, and I was not a match. So there was a 6-person chain that went around.
Huh.
And so, you kind of give a kidney, get a kidney. That's kind of what I call it.
Wow.
So,
That's
so it worked out real nice. And the gal that I gave to was a 68-year-old gal, and she was on her last week of life. And
Holy
now
moly.
she's been 6 years living with her grandchildren and all that and enjoying life. So,
Okay.
Nice work.
a real
There-
positive
Mike, that's
thing.
incredible.
That is it right there. We were talking about, like, what if it's a random stranger? There you go, right there. You attach a human to it, right? You just gave somebody time with their grandchildren. I got choked up hearing that what come out of your mouth. Like that's it right there. That's the why.
Yeah, at first, Steve, it was all about the wife, and then it's like you got to get this done for your loved one. But after the fact, and you reflect, and it's kind of helping two people out, and it was a real exciting thing and very positive.
So, Mike, let me ask you, your wife was on the list. I'm assuming she got a kidney?
Yeah, she did. Yeah,
Great.
Because I was able to give Steve automatically, then she's on the list.
Oh, that's
So
fantastic.
otherwise, she would have been on. And I know people that were on the list for 10 years, and it took 10 years to wait on the list. But if you've got someone in your world that will give, and you need one, you automatically get on the list, and you'll receive.
Let me just I want to clear one thing up, Mike. This is Paul Fletcher. So, did you guys essentially play? Because you said 6 different people. Did you essentially play like musical chairs with your kidneys?
That's exactly how it works.
Wow.
That's exactly how it works, Paul. Yep.
That's
Man,
insane.
Mike, that's fantastic. Give me those numbers again really quickly. How many people are waiting on a kidney right now?
There's 100,000 people waiting on the list every year, and over 6,000 people wait, past because the people aren't giving. And again, guys, I'm 63 years old right now, but I think I was 57 when I gave. 6 weeks, I was back on the racquetball court beating the guys' butts, and
All right.
Incredible.
Good for
and that.
you.
So the recovery time's good if you're healthy. You got to be living a good lifestyle, though.
Right,
you can't,
sure.
They won't. If you got diabetes or heart or any of those types of things, you're not going to be able to give. But if you're a healthy individual and you want to do something that changes people's lives, highly recommend it.
Right on. Hey, Mike, thanks so much for your time talking it and, more importantly, walking it. Well done, brother. We've got Donna from Albertville on the horn. Donna, good morning.
Hi.
Donna, what have you got for us?
I donated a kidney of mine to my friend
Really? How long ago was that?
6 years ago.
And are you guys both doing well today?
We are.
That's incredible. So when you found out your friend needed a kidney, did you immediately look into whether or not you were a match?
I did, because actually I was in the best shape of my life, and I thought, if I can help you, I will. I didn't even talk to my husband about it or kids or nothing. It's just something I felt I needed to do. So, and then I ended up being a match, and she's like, "You still want to do it?" And I'm like, "Of course."
It's just killing me.
The rest is history, and she's doing amazing.
That's really something, Donna. Prior to this, is this something you had ever had in the back of your mind, or did it just
Nope.
just right out of there?
Not at all.
Snap decision. That's fantastic.
When the opportunity came up, you acted. Like the selflessness that we're hearing right now is incredibly uplifting, man.
Okay,
Donna,
Donna, what sucks about having to donate a kidney? Because it can't all be great.
There you go.
Like how is
The
the
recovery.
Okay.
I will never have a core again.
Well, that's fair.
You know,
Yeah,
sit-ups are overrated anyway.
To answer your guys' question, if I were to ever need a kidney, because I'm a donor, they put you right in the front of the line.
All right, then.
got it. So what were the chances that you were going to be a match? What are the numbers? Like how unlikely was it that your dear friend would need a kidney and you would end up being able to donate one?
I really don't know that answer.
All right.
I don't know, but I know, both she had PKD, polycystic kidney disease, and both her kidneys were removed. So all she has is me.
Wow. That's something. Literally life-saving. Donna, thanks so much, and all the best.
Thanks.
Hey, Donna, hopefully I run into you over at Neighbors or something one of these days.
Hopefully you do.
Yeah, she's gone. All right, fair enough.
She's gone.
She's an Albertville girl. I like it.
651-989-ROCK. Living donors, man. That's two amazing phone calls. Mike and Donna, good friends to have.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the Morning is back. 92 KQRS.
We are getting ready to play a game of double or nothing. We could use one more caller, 651-989-ROCK. If you want to compete for some Sex Pistols tickets, 651-989-ROCK. That would be the number. So let's see here. Ryder, are we ready to rock with contestant number 1?
Yeah, let's go with Michelle.
Michelle from Bloomington. Michelle, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you ready for a little double or nothing?
I am ready.
All right, so I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and then after you give us your answers, we'll see how you did compared to one of Ryder's barflies from the halftime wreck. All right, you all set? Here's number 1. All right, Michelle, besides a swimming pool, name a place that it is not unusual to see someone in a bathing suit.
Beach.
Okay, number 2, what's a type of pie you eat often when it's warm outside, but almost never when it's cold?
Key lime.
Key lime. Nice answer. Number 3, name something people from Chicago brag about.
Air baseball.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Baseball teams.
Got it. Number 4, it's nice to have a friend who owns a blank.
Pontoon.
Damn straight it is. Number 5, name a legendary Minnesota Twin.
Kirby Puckett.
Nice. I like old Kirby Puckett as an answer and as a ball player. All right, Michelle, very well done. Ryder, who are we going up with here? Who's your barfly?
So we checked in with Don, who was wearing a very fancy tie and told me he was in consulting, and then he kind of winked at me. So we'll see. All right, here are Don's answers. Besides a swimming pool, name a place it's not unusual to see someone in a bathing suit.
Beach.
What is a type of pie that you eat often when it's hot outside, but not so often when it's cold?
Key lime.
Good answer. Name something people from Chicago might brag about.
Being from Chicago.
It's nice to have a friend who owns a blank.
Pool.
Ooh. Name a famous Minnesota Twin.
Harmon Killebrew.
Kirby Puckett was the right answer there.
It was the right answer. Michelle, it doesn't matter, though, because you hit the first 2 out of the park. Bang, boom, that's a double. You've just won Sex Pistols tickets.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well done.
Don't go anywhere, Michelle.
Don't go anywhere, Michelle. We're going to move on. We got, is this Joe from Richfield on the horn? Joe, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you ready to play a little double or nothing?
Yes, I am.
All right, 5 questions. Here we go. Number 1, name a type of fish that anglers are excited to catch.
Bass.
Number 2, at what price does a gallon of gas seem cheap?
$2.50.
$2.50. Number 3, finish this phrase. Fire and blank.
Say it one more time.
Finish this phrase. Fire and blank.
2 seconds, Joe.
Fire and ready.
All right. Obviously not a free fan. All right, number 4. What's a word or phrase Minnesotans are known for saying?
You betcha.
I like that one. All right, number 5. Name a good reason to stay up late.
Homework.
All right, Joe. Let's see what we got on the homework. Didn't see homework coming.
All right, there's nothing better than a 2 a.m. homework session, you know?
That's a fact. All right, Ryder, who's Joe going to try to match with?
Joe's going to try and match up with, of the St. Paul Isotopes softball team. We talked to Mike, who I totally fangirled over him because he is like a big up at Menards. I was real excited.
Nice.
Here are Mike's answers. Name a type of fish anglers are excited to catch.
A walleye.
At what price does a gallon of gas seem cheap?
$2.99.
Finish the phrase. Fire and
water. That was tough. Fire and ice.
There you go. What's a word or phrase Minnesotans are known for saying?
Hope.
Name a good reason to stay up late.
Playoff game.
Playoff game.
Oh,
Yeah.
Joe, sorry to say, you got nothing. 0 for 5, but thank you very much for the call, brother.
Skunked.
We still got one more, don't we?
Yeah, we can hit up Dana.
Let's do Dana. Dana, you with us?
Yes, sir.
All right, Dana, you know what we're doing. We're playing double or nothing. You ready?
Yep.
Here's your first question. What's the minimum height someone should be before they even consider playing in the NBA?
5'7".
5'7". Spud Webb says thank you, even though he was really 5'4". Name something high schoolers do that would disappoint their mothers.
Quit school.
There you go. Number 3, what's an event you would get a haircut before attending?
Repeat that, please.
What's an event that you would go get your haircut before attending?
Shit. New job.
New job, first day on the job. Okay, number 4, at what temperature is it warm enough to eat a meal on the patio?
60.
60. Number 5, how long does a car trip need to take before it's too far to drive?
So you're just driving for the heck of it, or what?
Well, when do you consider? When do you think? No, screw it. I'm flying.
Let's say, so like for a trip.
Yeah.
You're going to go somewhere long distance.
Yep.
10 hours.
10 hours. All right, let's see how you match up. Who we got, Ryder?
All right, we talked to Care Bear, also of the St. Paul Isotopes. Just a total stereotypical bardo. He's got the Mr. Clean haircut and
Nice.
a belly you could put a shamrock on. Here are Care Bear's answers. Care Bear, let's go.
Here we go.
Okay, what's the minimum height somebody should be before they consider playing in the NBA?
6'3".
Name something high schoolers do that disappoints their mothers.
Drink.
What's an event you would... Oh, this is a dumb one to ask you. What's an event you would consider getting a haircut before attending?
A wedding.
Wedding's a good answer. What's a temperature where it's warm enough to sit on the patio for a meal?
Oh, 50 in Minnesota.
What? How long does a car trip need to take before it's too far to drive?
Ooh, 5.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
These people
Lightweight. Dana, sorry to say you didn't match 2. You went 0 for 5, but we appreciate the call and the effort there, my man. So let's see. We went 1 for 3. Michelle scored Sex Pistols tickets.
Yeah.
Hey,
I was
man.
confident. I told you one of them was going to nail it.
Yeah, one of them was right on top of things. For the record, there's a band from Virginia called Illiterate Light, and they have a great song called Wedding Hair. Truly, it's a beautiful tune. Track it down by name. All right, I'm feeling Minnesota. We got some headlines to get to.
Well, we've got an air quality alert. We've got a red flag warning. And as I say that, crews and aircraft are battling a 200-acre fire up in northern Minnesota, in St. Louis County, very close to Superior National Forest, as well as Gooseberry Falls, that area. So hopefully they get that under control. And it's probably all stemming from the weather we've been experiencing. Minnesota broke some records yesterday. Certain you noticed the unseasonably hot temperatures here in the Twin Cities. We officially touched 90. That's nothing compared to Halleck in the northwest corner. Hit 100 degrees up in the very, very tippy top of Minnesota. Some of these records that are being broken, more than 5 degrees and date back 125 years. So it's
when you break a record by
unprecedented heat.
5 degrees, that's like Bob Beeman's Mexico City long jump in 1968. You're like, wait, I'm sorry, what? I mean, that's a lot to break a record by. Half a degree is noteworthy.
A real deep reference.
Just saying.
Super deep. I like it though.
There's at least 3 people that are like, hey, good one, Steve.
At least 3. The U.S. and China will slash their tariffs on each other for 90 days, taking a bit of a break, according to our Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent. It's the relief global businesses and investors hoped for after the trade war brought commerce pretty much to a standstill and hurtling towards a recession.
Yeah.
Such a roller coaster, and we're at the end.
Jeez.
We could have just not done it. There's
It's
that.
It's that roller coaster that popped up in the middle of a putt-putt golf course. One day we're all just going along, and the next day we're like, how did I get here? Who the hell put this here?
More than 3 people got that reference.
Yeah.
A couple that met while playing the game Minecraft recently got married in the game. They met at 13, and they're now in their mid-20s. She's from Oregon, he's from England. Their digital wedding happened in March, but Wired is now doing a story about it. Their avatars stood in front of a digital altar with a canopy of pixelated cherry blossoms above. It's almost hard to read this with a straight face. They said getting married in the game made sense for them because, quote, we've lived apart our whole relationship. That world is where we live together. He also proposed in the game. The whole wedding cost $300.
Okay, so your kids come to you, either of you, and say, I want to get married. It's only going to set you back $300, but I'm going to do it in Minecraft. What do you say? Because weddings are costing like $30,000.
I'll tell you sincerely. I'd say there's some paperwork you can fill out where you can change your name. Get away from me. Getting married in Minecraft. I don't even know who you are.
Getting married does often involve changing your name, depending on who you are.
Jeez, that's a good point.
Mine are so little that we aren't even talking about driver's license quite yet. And so I'd like to think that I'd be supportive when the time comes, but I don't know. It's
getting
nuts.
married in Minecraft.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
only $300 though.
Bro.
I mean,
I think the answer is go rent a canoe and just stay overnight on a lake somewhere. Then come back to me and tell me how great Minecraft is.
Okay.
A new study is showing that we may need some more canoes in this country because the biggest cities are sinking, and not just the ones on a coast. Researchers say that, quote, massive ongoing groundwater extraction in major cities is causing land subsidence, or sinking. In every city studied, at least 20% of the urban area was sinking. Yeah, and at least 65% of it is sinking, which will have an impact on the structural integrity of buildings, roads, bridges, dams, all those things that we use on a daily basis. What are we talking? Like a half an inch a decade or so? It's tiny amounts. Not that it doesn't matter, but I'm saying 20 millimeters a year.
Okay, all right.
So 20 millimeters?
But over
still,
time,
is that 2 centimeters if I'm doing my my metric math right?
Yep. Okay. Sounds about right. So this is the point where I was going to say, but this does matter. No, it doesn't. By the time it matters, I'll be gone. Who cares? And your kids will probably I can put up with 2 centimeters a year.
Listen, if we do the sinking thing here in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area and I can kayak down the streets, I'm all about that. I just got to figure out how to ice skate in the winter. There we go.
I can teach you how to skate. We'll just make Minneapolis the new Venice.
Yes.
It'll be lovely. That's what I got.
Venice North. And it smells way better.
North, yeah.
Sports. Let's talk about the Timberwolves. Tonight, they can go up 3-1 with a victory over the Warriors out west in the Bay Area. Tip-off at 9 p.m. The Golden State Warriors, they're not even trying to pretend they have anything other than one plan, which is to beat the Timberwolves into submission. They're planning to, they're going to be pushing and shoving and throwing elbows. They're going to it's roughhouse basketball. The NBA, thankfully, allows a much more physical brand of basketball in the playoffs. I find it far more entertaining. And that's all they have. Steph Curry's still out. Jimmy Butler finally showed up and had a big offensive night Saturday, but it was nowhere near enough. The Timberwolves are in control of the series. They will be 100% in control of the series with a win tonight. They're still going to win this series. It's going to be tough, though. They're going to be beaten down because that's all Golden State has. I'm loving the idea that we can get this thing done in 5 and then have another bit of a break because the Thunder and the Nuggets are going 7. You heard it here, not first at all, but everyone kind of looks at that and says it's going 7. The Minnesota Twins baseball team, 8 straight wins. Yes. Good gracious. And they did it in dramatic fashion yesterday. It went to extra innings at home against the Giants.
Shoots this one fair inside the left field line. And Deshaun Kersey Jr. swings away and walks it off. And Brooks Lee scores, and the Twins sweep the Giants. 7-6 the final in 10. And the Twins have won 8 straight ball games.
21-20. That is not a bad record for a team that just a few weeks ago was way south of 500.
It was like 5-14.
That's it. Yep. Oh yeah.
They were the butt of the joke at one point. Now they're 21-20. That's not bad.
They're turning it around. The Minnesota Frost are one game yesterday at the X over the Toronto Scepters. They have a 2-1 series lead. They won yesterday 7-5. You gotta like a game with that kind of scoring. This was the highest scoring game in the PWHL's 2-year history.
Wow.
For the
really?
record.
Okay.
21 players on the score sheet. 21 different players scored
Nice
or
job,
assisted.
ladies.
So that was a kind of an exciting game. What was the vibe like? You were there, Paul.
It was, you know what? Here's the thing, and this isn't just, like, this isn't speak from somebody that works for the team. That crowd, like, I'll admit it, it was not as big as what would be expected, but they are so loud and so invested. They come up with their own chants. It's like a soccer match almost with
Nice.
the the vibe is fantastic, and the team is playing legit right now. Lights out.
Right on. Go Frost, defending champions.
Yeah, buddy.
Boom.
Just
All
like
right.
2 of them.
Forest Lake, glad to have you with us. Forest Lake, Minnesota, we're tipping our cap in your direction.
Yeah.
Figuratively speaking, of course.
Initially a town that was basically a train stop between St. Paul and Duluth.
Glad to know
That's
that.
how it started. Yep.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Billy Idol was at an event in the 80s, and he saw Keith Richards walk in, and Keith Richards was holding a bottle, as he liked to do, of Rebel Yell bourbon. And Billy Idol was like, well, that sounds cool. Rebel Yell, I wonder what that's all about. I don't know if I like the taste of it, but it gives me an idea for a song. And it did.
Do they still make it, and have either of you had it?
Well, it is still produced, although a few years ago they changed it from Rebel Yell. It's now just called Rebel, which is really, come on, stop.
What?
Rebel Yell's cool.
That's a great name.
I know.
No, I don't even want it.
Now it's just Rebel. And yes, I've had Rebel Yell on a few occasions, but the first occasion, first ever like national tour my band did in 1990. We started in Los Angeles and ended in Los Angeles, and in between went to Fort Lauderdale and Portland, Maine, and everywhere in between.
That's the whole.
It was a hell of a tour, including First Ave, first time in Minneapolis.
Okay.
So when the tour started, early on in the tour, somebody just gave us a really large bottle of Rebel Yell. Like, hey guys, have fun out there.
Okay.
And we looked at it, and we knew that's what Keith Richards drinks. We'd never had it. And so we said, let's wait, and we'll drink it when the tour ends. We'll celebrate the end of our first tour.
Yeah, beauty.
And we, for 6 weeks, kept this bottle unopened in the van, which was amazing now that I think back on it. My God.
Yeah, that's discipline.
And the last show of the tour was in Oakland, California. We were opening for a band called Junkyard, a great rock band. And we finished this gig at the Omni in Oakland, a little club.
Okay.
And then we cracked open that Rebel Yell and was like, oh, man, this is the stuff.
There you
and
go.
we all had a big drink up, and it's the last night. We did a whole tour. And then we had already found out we're going to do another one in a few days. This is amazing. And I really enjoyed that Rebel Yell, so much so that I woke up and I was outside in the parking lot, spread eagle on the hood of a giant pickup truck. I don't know whose it was, but he didn't like the fact that he walked out and saw a giant man asleep on the hood of his truck.
Yeah, I don't blame
And
him.
he was like shaking me awake. And I mean, I could have been injured. He was trying to throw me off, and I was like, what, man? And then a couple of guys said, like, hey, and then they kind of peeled me off the truck. And then I got in the van, and then I saw, hey, there's still a little bit left. And then I just kept going, and then had a whole night in San Francisco that I don't remember.
Hair of a dog.
So,
Man,
yeah.
Did you throw out that, hey, I'm in a band sort of thing, or did whoever's truck it was figure that out, or you're just some random
I'm
dude?
just some random dude, man. I just look like everybody else in that club, and I was wide out. We're just full on passed out on his truck.
Do you have your clothes on?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. No.
Oakland.
As far as I know.
Never hot in Oakland.
No, it's always, everything's just fine in Oakland. Hey, KQ's Bestest is up on the website, 92KQRS.com. Go there and vote for as many categories as you like, as many times as you like. All right. Let's peel back the paint a little bit. Let's get into this one. Could get a little dicey around here. Bestest record store.
Okay, wait a minute.
Bestest record store.
Are we contractually obligated to have the same opinion? I'm thinking we do, right? I mean,
we are not.
No?
No, sir. The handcuffs are off.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean,
Wow.
I can't.
let's start-
Listen, I can't say Ryder's not going to attack you off the premises, but this is a
gonna say, do I
professional.
need
This is a professional location right now, anyway.
Let's start with what makes a good record store. Like, when you go into a record store, what's something you need to see to know that this is a place worth digging around for? Because it can be really time-consuming.
Yeah, it can be. I vibe, just immediately vibe. And there are cool hole-in-the-wall used record stores I've walked to, and for whatever reason, I'm like, I don't feel it. You know what I mean? It's not even about, it's either there or it's not. It's like a dive bar. You walk in and you're like, they're trying too hard, or it's just right, or there are clearly rats in the pipes. You know, you can just feel it, right? And record stores, the ones that I lose hours of my life to, you open the front door, and within 5 seconds, I already know, like, I like this place.
Yeah.
And if I tried to define that or explain it, I'd probably just end up talking in circles. But that's the most important thing. And then you got to have, and as much as it's cliche, there's got to be at least a bit of snark from the first employee you talk to.
Yeah.
They got to look at you like, what are you doing here? You know, it's like, I don't want to talk to you about your music. Let me tell you what you should be listening to. I always appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think you're alone. Most people hate the snark.
No, well, having worked in a fine used record store myself, where I provided plenty, I relate. I feel it, you know?
You want to feel a little bit judged, for sure, when you walk in the door. I agree with you. It's a vibe. It's something that you feel. I always go to smell, too. Like, it's got to have a certain smell.
Yeah.
And then you know what? I'm big on organization. I want to be able to at least be pointed in the right direction. Not by somebody. I mean, just walk to a certain area and know what I'm getting into.
You don't want the bins to look like a free-for-all.
Like I don't want it to look like a garage sale. That way, right?
I got you.
Fair. Yeah, if I go in there and they have filed all the Bob Dylan records under B,
Problem.
or all the Bruce Springsteen records under B, like, I get real antsy. And I don't even, like, buy, like, we have so many records, I hardly ever buy anything.
Yeah.
I'll just re-alphabetize just because I don't know what else to do.
I love a good B section, or I like the lettered sections. And I was always when you look at a store, sometimes it's interesting to see who do they value enough to give them their own placard.
Own card? Yeah.
Oh, you're not in the random R's. You actually got your own. Wow, good job. You know. It's always a big deal. The day my first album was released, which was in February of 1990, I was still working at the record store, and I was putting my own album into the random Bs. And I was like, this isn't what I thought life would be like with a record out. I'm not supposed to be here.
You should know what you should have done. You should have said, hey, I'm in distribution now.
Oh, man, it was not at all what I was looking for. The 5 you can vote for on KQRS's website, 92KQRS.com. South Metro Music in Burnsville. Sure, it's great. Not been there.
Sure.
Somebody very, very close to me picked up a bunch of Pavement records there once upon a time. So I think that's the vibe they're going for. I hear really good things.
Verbena Vinyl in Northfield.
Never been.
I think this is one where if you're looking for, like, to find that spectacularly expensive record that everybody else has missed.
Right.
They might have it somewhere in their stacks. I think they have low traffic. So
Got it.
if that's the kind of shopper you are, that's your store.
Electric Fetus. I know this. They still sell chunky bars there, which is great. Every time I go there, I leave with a chunky bar. Yeah, thickera. Did an in-store there, Trigger Hippie, in 2019 when we put our second record out. Good folks. I've been going there for years because when you're in town, it was the one place I knew back in the day.
It's the famous one.
It is.
Yeah,
it's the famous one.
Sure.
And it lives up to it too, though. It's got all that vibe that we talked about.
White Bear Lake Records in White Bear Lake, not surprisingly.
No.
And then finally, what is this one? It's called Down in the Valet. Down in the Valet. The valet. They have valet parking?
Yes.
Down in the Valley, Golden Valley. Mr. Ryder himself.
It's going to be me. Yeah. Shout out for Down in the Valley. I'm wearing my T-shirt today. And my husband will say what makes a good record store is if you go in and they have both Fugazi and Dead Kennedys records. So if you go into Down in the Valley and you don't see those, dude, just head right to the counter and complain. Yes.
That's fantastic. All right, go to 92KQRS. Vote for not only bestest record store, but many, many, many other categories.
I would just say that I feel safe. I can walk the halls safely because I would actually vote, even if Ryder wasn't listening, I'd actually vote Down in the Valley, Go Valley. I just love that place, have for a long year. And I even had a stint at the Maple Grove Down in the Valley for a minute. So I've been partial to Down in the Valley for years. Electric Fetus, nobody's going to hate you if you vote that, but Down in the Valley is a special spot for me.
Vote as many times as you like. 92KQRS.com.
92KQRS.
The last word, I'll leave you with this. Sudoku, the fun number game. You know, the Japanese sensation?
Yeah.
It's from Indiana. The guy that invented it, Howard Garnes, was an architect in Indianapolis. He called it number place. And he invented it in 1979, but it took off in Japan first, and so therefore they put the name on it, and we all think of it as a Japanese thing. Now,
Sudoku's
Indiana.
way catchier.
Yeah, it's way better than number place.
Yeah, a little bit. Better.
So, hey, let's talk about what's going on tomorrow on this show. We have a concert announcement.
What?
Yes.
And tickets.
What?
Damn straight.
And a little something we call WTF, Wisconsin, Texas, Florida.
Oh, yeah.
That's all happening tomorrow on Gorman in the Morning. What's happening next on KQRS, Fletcher?
Well, I'm going to play some songs. I've got a couple of holdover requests from Friday that I'm going to take care of. A couple of those to take care of, kick off the 10 a.m. hour. And I've also got tons and tons of tickets to give away. Got Wallflowers with ZZ Top and Offspring tickets to unload. I mean,
cool.
Holy moly.
Right on. Sounds like a plan. We'll be back tomorrow.
Gorman in the Morning is also Gorman on the go. Get the 92 KQRS app and stream live or catch the Gorman in the Morning podcast anytime. 92 KQRS.